Then I get outside car. Listen, take out the sound fading, but here we break it down. Echoes at the past, it's a wisdom that they drown. They able let the shadows shine through the dark. Voices of the council, let it give you like a spark. Ooh, the triple loud, they tryna turn it down. Step into the light, watch the history rebound. They do fall, I literally wrote with 4 miles of my life to get them last route.
From the first spark, I be up before time. Everybody's like hell, rearrange their mind. Every line that spit, rewrite they design. Every truth that drop, make a hit and rewind. They moving silent, but I see through the veil. Change one name, but it's really itself. Final streets that it came, while they print up the bell. Like I'm lost in the maze, just a prophet to tell. It's a cycle, blood turning gears in the system. Born the disease and they still need to fix. I've been watching, third eye stay in position. Ancestors whisper got gold in my vision. If once you sleep, so the dream feel real. Set that hope in the box with a sign of feel. What the land ain't safe and the gold ain't real. The throne of the queen, now that their own place still.
Ooh, they true too loud, they tryna turn us down. Moving the light when we came from underground. They scared of the past, cause the future profound. What's lost been found, now the council's all around. When the council speak, listen when the echoes meet. Every verse, every beat, it's the key, it's the seed. What's found, get free. What's blind, don't see. What's hushed, don't scream. What's locked, got the key. They build pyramids, it's a copy of God. Till the blueprint that he had to report. Slogging ain't I, but the swords been sworn. Ain't no tag, take the touch, that's the master we are. Hold it up.
And we know I don't rap, I just stand on the weave. Have my own yo. Turn vibrations to waves that be shifted degrees. So long, yo, yeah. And when you walk from, I'm bringing with me. And when you walk from, I'm bringing turn it down, moving the light, go we came from underground. They're scared of the past, but the future first down. What's lost and found, now the council's around. Who the council speak, this is what they tell me. Every verse, every beat, it's a key, it's a seed. What's found, get free. What's blind, go see. What's hushed, don't scream. What's locked, got the key.
Peace and blessings. Alapia from 113 of Arisha Stone. Another Matriarch Monday with 2 new goddesses. Chief Khalifa, how you doing?
I'm blessed. Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. And Sacred Goddess, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing well.
I'll say. While we wait for Goddess Lightfeather to get in, Chief Khalifa, tell us about yourself and where you're from.
Well, I'm from Stockton, California, represent the 209. I basically been traveling around the world. When I was in the military, got back, and Spirit sat my ass down and was like, we're going to turn your world upside down and show you what time it is. You on mute.
Oh, yes, I'll say. And tell us about yourself. What do you do? Like your business and everything while we're waiting.
So what I currently do was I basically been alchemizing the timelines. I work full-time for Spirit. I'm going to be transitioning to LA because that's going to be our next destination that we got to tackle, because we got to take down Hollywood. So for the past 2 years, I've been working on the energy and on the grid from the position that I'm in right now, which I'm about an hour, 15 minutes away from the San Francisco Gate Portal. So I'm going to be making my way down to LA in a couple of months after the 7/4 shift. And then we're going to be working on the Hollywood.
Michelle Shay. Sacred Goddess, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I am also from California, from San Francisco, born and raised. I'm right now. I just moved to Atlanta. I've been here since March. Um, my role in this play for the matriarch is to restore the divine feminine back into divinity. I've done it in past lives, and I'm here to do it again. Uh, bring our bring our women back into remembering who they are, remembering that they are goddesses, bringing them back into their original states of being, and working with them with healing their wounds, so that they can tap into who they truly are. The wombs are very distorted in our melanated women, and I am here to do that healing work that I've done before, and bring our women back into alignment so that they can get ready for these divine unions that will balance the earth back into its rightful place when we transition into the new earth.
Ashe.
Shay. Yes, ma'am. I like it. I like it already. And you in the right place. Matriarch Monday. We named this for Matriarch Economics because what we were trying to build down south, we most definitely trying to build with the goddesses all on the West Coast and everything else. No, nothing's getting done without y'all. You know what I'm saying? Having everything in order. We're waiting for a light feather to come in. She wanted to run the floor tonight.
Mm-hmm.
But while we're waiting on her, Chief Khalifa, what topics were we touching on tonight?
So tonight, what we wanted to touch on was basically with this transformation. That's what's going to be happening in the come time and soon. We need everybody to, while we getting hit with these light codes from the sun and we getting blasted from the Schumann resonance, make sure you're anchoring this energy because there is going to be a mini solar flash in August, and we want people to be in their divinity. You need to be working on your spiritual energy because when it comes time for this money to come, we don't want people fucking off the money. So we want everybody to have their plan. Yes, we can get the cars, the houses, the nice things, but make sure you have your plans in order, and you will be guided by the right resources to make sure your source procreations ain't gonna be in line with some people that we already know is doing bad business. We know we're in a war on fraud right now. Too many people have got scammed. So when it comes time for us to making these humanitarian projects into fruition and bringing them out, we don't want no situations to where we getting scammed by people. And how we do that is we're in our divinity. We're making these co-creations through source. We know who our resources are going to be because we know in our heart, because it's a divine led co-creation. So the focus needs to be everybody get into their divinity, opening up their Akashic records, figuring out what lifetime, what energies they're supposed to get from what lifetime, to make sure that you are a walking divine being on this earth. Can't nobody fuck with you.
I say yes, ma'am. I love that. And like I said, I do Matriarch Monday one because with social media out there, they make it seem like the women just hate us, the men hate the women, everything else. No, we most definitely trying to find the divine balance and get
Yeah.
back to where we need to be in this cosmos. Sacred Goddess, you want to tag on to that, please?
So the distortion came when the fallen reversed the codes to have these sacred unions come into play. They knew that they knew our blueprint, so they knew we were going to come and we were going to get into union with our mates, with our cosmic mates, because together in union, that's why the scriptures always said two is better than one. Us together, we have this unspeakable power that they know when we get together, it's going to change things. So they went and distorted the masculine, distorted the feminine, got us with karmic partners, to keep us from not being in that balance. Because when we come into that balance, the distortion is gone and then they can no longer feed. So my role is I'm opening up a sacred goddess temple for the divine feminine to come in to get herself together, because there's no fighting against the male, the masculine, and the feminine. Both of us have been distorted. No one is better than the other. My job is to make sure that the women get in alignment so that they are in rightful position to be with the men who are doing their healing work, their shadow work, and got their selves together so they can come into union and that we can have balance in the planet. So I have to get the women in order, clear the distortions out the womb, clear the programming out of the mind, the subconscious programming, the blocks, the distortions, the false beauty that they need all this, stuff to just feel whole. Get them into their rightful standing. Once they're in rightful standing, they're able to hold a masculine that is in his rightful position, and then the two can be in union, and there's not one person distorted. Usually in these relationships, somebody's distorted, if not both. We have one man, we have the male, he's doing his thing right, he's not eating meat, he's not doing nothing. She's eating meat, she's still partying, drinking Hennessy, all of that. We can't have that because the unions have to be a balance where both people are on that 5D timeline of being where we're going into back into our purity, how we've been. We were plant people before, and we know that this takes it takes time for this stuff to fall away. It's not nothing that happens overnight. It took me years to get to where I am. So it's a process. So it's not going to be something that changes overnight. But our people have to be in alignment because if there's one, the scales have to be balanced, as what my aunt says. If one person is off balance, then the union just is going to fall. We can't have one person wanting to change and the other person does not. It just brings the distortion. So my job is to bring that balance so that these women can get in alignment. Somebody is going to be doing it for the males. I just don't know yet who's going to do the males to make sure the masculines are in alignment. But my job right now is the feminine, as I have been given that position.
I say. And yeah, most definitely. All the brothers, we most definitely coming together to support the matriarch and everything that y'all do. But like you said, as far as the men, we're gonna take care of what we got going on over here as far as the tribe anyway. We ain't worried about the whole world and all the masculine. We worry about the men in our communities and our tribes and everything. So yeah, we most definitely about to go around with these the Fensway priests and think like the to maintain what we need to be doing for y'all as well. So I love what you said though, because that's really powerful. I could tell y'all to not here to play tonight. Um, I'm still waiting for Lightfeather to get in. Uh, Chief Khalifa, I might give you the floor for a second where I call Lightfeather, see where she at real quick, because I know she really
Okay.
wanted to go in real quick. So go ahead and go off real quick, and I'll be right back.
Listen, y'all, for literally like because spirit sat me down and I was laid off from my corporate job literally the day before I left to go to Egypt, which was my birthday last year. I got laid off on St. Patrick's Day. They laid me off on a lucky day, but I was really lucky. So that tie to the US corporation got cut before I went to go to Egypt. I went to Egypt. That's a whole nother breakdown I'm gonna have to do. It was a crazy ass situation. Um, they really tore it up though. But on some real shit, like we need everybody to be walking in the L names. We need everybody to be walking in the L, they bays, and they days names. We need people to stand and be walking in their divinity, knowing their source name, because shit is about to pop off. We know it's about to pop off. Everything. If you take a holistic look at the changes that's going to be going on, we know we got our Anunnaki ancestors coming down. We know the earth is being covered in ships right now. They charging up the grid. Like we know, we see the signs. We know that we're living in the revelation times, but everybody is literally walking around in fucking Lulu land. Like we really got shit to handle. We got a whole lot of shit to handle. Like it's gonna be looking real crazy when when we rise up. Everybody is gonna be like, "What the fuck is going on?" While we've been saying we told y'all, everybody else that's gonna be realizing what's going on is gonna be going crazy.
I say. I love that. You said, yo, living your divinity. Hey, And then I love how you talk about the energy. I see that segment in your background. You know, I pay attention to everything. I see that nipsey on your chest, but I see that segment in your background. And a lot of
You know
people
what
I've been
time it
talking.
is?
Yeah, I've been talking to a lot of people about the same thing about how we need to unify and not just talk about unification, but actually doing it, supporting each other's businesses and whatnot. And also getting into different things. We need to start creating. We have to take real businesses, not the bullshit selling
Yes, we
t-shirts and
need
everything else. We need agriculture.
grassroots companies stood
Yes,
up
ma'am.
because there's going to be different hierarchies, right? There's going to be people who carry the heavier loads of financial wealth. We was all rich and we were all royalty, right? So everybody needs to up their wealth game and really start to understand what it's like and study these millionaires, study these billionaires. We know what we know we need to know the foundation of how to run the system. Then we go ahead and figure out, okay, in the 5D, we ain't gonna be doing this. We ain't gonna be doing that. We ain't gonna be doing this. So there's gonna be people who hold a lot of wealth, and we're gonna be the ones cashing everybody out to make sure that they can do the grassroots projects and the community projects. There's gonna be a way that we're going to be able to get this all together, but people need to have their plans in place.
And that's what you
Hey,
just said.
sis.
I love what you just said. Before we worry about anybody else, everybody need to worry about their household first and
Come
make sure
on,
that
lay the
are we
foundation.
worthy? Are we worthy? Do we have something to contribute to the tribe? I love that. I love it. God is light feather. We ready to get started now. Look, north, south, east, west, ready.
Come on, we
Uh,
on.
we all light
Yes,
feather. Please introduce yourself. Welcome back to the tribe. They've been asking about you. What were we on tonight, guys?
yes, gratitude. Apologies, family, tribe family for the technical delay and difficulties here. So yes, one of the things that the matriarch God and I, we are totally in alignment, and all of us is that are here for this divine mission, for the restoration of our tribes, is that we understand that in order for so much of this to happen, is that to Charlene's point, is that we really have to really come back to our divine self. We have to connect with the divine, because once, let's put it this way, you can read 1,000 books, okay, out there, but once you connect with your higher self, right, your highest state of consciousness and your divine mind, there's really nothing else to study. But other than self, when you study self, there is nothing else to study. And the reason I say that is because all of the answers that we're waiting for, all the answers that we're looking for, everything, to solve life's problems, it lies within us. The answers are with us. It's in the Akash that lies within, that has been latent, all of the information and energy that has been latent within our DNA. It all sits with us. It's in our DNA. And that's where we're going to find the answers, right? It helps us to think. It helps us to, it's kind of like, think of our bodies as, and I don't like saying vessel because I don't want to associate anything with a ship in maritime law, but think of it this way. It's interesting. I froze in the I believe it's the Ajna pose. But I like that, when the camera froze me. But think of it this way, is that, your body, think of your avatar, your body, as it's like a car, right? It's a car, right? But when we awaken the divine mind, now we are putting our highest, our higher self in the driver's seat. And we're just along for the ride, enjoying the journey, right? But that's exactly what it is, because all the answers just come. I mean, I've experienced this so much in my life. I could tell you so many stories that would have your head, your hair literally standing on your head of what I'm saying. When you awaken the Shakti, when you awaken the divine mind, your divine energy, your some refer to, there's so many different names for it, serpent power, whatever. But that's the key for us, because what's going to happen is, many of our people, we all have the same questions. It's like, what are we going to do? Like, how are we going to get, how are we going to get our, how are we going to get our land? And like, people like, where's, they all want access to our resources, right? Which is really part of this. It's all of our wealth. The land is, all of our wealth, our mineral wealth, everything is in the land. Okay. That's where our foundation is. It is in the land. So we're all asking the same questions, right? Family, tribe family. We're like, okay, how are we going to get our money? I know that's a lot of people thinking, like, I mean, it comes right down to it. Let's just really keep it real. But the point is this, is that you can have all the money in the world, family, but if we are not in our divine mind and in the awareness of our consciousness, all of this, it will be futile, because what's going to happen is, you're going to have it, spend it today, and it'll be gone tomorrow. You'll be in the, you'll have all this wealth, right? And then tomorrow you'll be in the, I hate to use the phrase, the hammer syndrome, if you know the whole story of MC Hammer. So, right. And we don't want that, right, for our people. We want to be able to take that and, the wealth, and to cultivate our wealth for development, right, within our tribal communities, for expansion, among our people. And also to work together the way we, really going back to the way we were, right? And as a tribe, moving as a tribe, and that unified energy. So that, and that's not going to happen with us sitting here waiting for somebody else and other people to solve our problems and to say, here it is, right? Nobody's going to do that for us, family. Here's the reality check. Nobody's going to do that. It's up to we, right? And when I say that, it's up to us, and primarily the people that are here as part of that mission. And it is the restoration, our matriarchs, the ones that have come back for this mission, for this divine purpose. And that is to restore the balance, right? Not just here on Turtle Island, but on this planet. It's our energy that's going to bring this about, right? And that is the restoration. It's our energy that's going to bring heaven on earth. But first, we have got to awaken the divinity, the inner divinity within us, right? And which is so, like, it is not a coincidence that Brother Risha Stone connected me with these matriarch gods here that are all on the same page. And I was sharing with Charlene, is that, in the beginning, I was talking, and I was on the platform a month ago, and I was reaching out and saying, hey, I'm building a tribal council, for us to come together collectively to brainstorm, right, to really begin, this process and the reclamation, of our lands. And then I realized, after, I made that announcement, really, weeks later, my divine self said, listen, stop chasing the bag. The people that are here for this purpose, the ones of us that accepted this mission, there, like I said, there will be a convergence. You don't have to find them. They're going to find you. We'll find each other. And you see how it is all will manifest, how it's all will manifest in tribes. So yes, we have to, but, as part of this mission that I have, Charlene, we have to awaken, and this, this is just, part of our tasks, right? Here is more than one, not just a reclamation of the land coming together, but also, the convergence of all the matriarchs that are here for that, forming the council, the government, our tribal government council, but also to begin the process of, the whole, really helping to, begin to teach, this is part of my mission, the spiritual science, to help our people to connect and become one with not just, the motherverse and our divine, our divinity, but also that's going to help us to become one with our land again, to awaken, all of that energy as well. And then bring us out of this primal state of existence that we've been living in, right? Worrying about how we're going to eat, how are we going to, pay, how are we going to pay our bills next month? All of these things, all the distractions, family, that we have going on, that's all around us. I mean, let's think about it. People are on a hamster wheel. Everybody's on, not everyone, but we have so many of our people on this hamster wheel. And yes, we all want the same things, but then people are like, well, how do we do this? And how do we do that? And then we have people that are spending so much time caught up in a lot of petty, really petty, low vibrational energy, and caught up in, worrying about what other people are doing and things like of that nature, rather than focusing on what we're really what the greater picture here, right? But that is because many of our people are still not awakened, right? We all want the same things, but not everybody is on the same spiritual or vibrational path. And let me tell you something: if we understand anything about the laws of the universe, I prefer to say the motherverse, is that there is a law of magnetism. There's the law of attraction, that like attracts like. When people are in the same vibration, the same frequency, that magnetic, we're electromagnetic beings, that magnetic pull is going to pull them in, the ones that are on the same vibrational field as you. And that's how you find one another, right? So this is why it's so key. When we are all on that, the people, as people awaken, as we awaken, more and more of our people are helping to awaken themselves, right? Through our spiritual, science. It's going to help them to connect back with our culture here, our tribal cultures. It's going to help us connect with their very totem, their totems. All of these things, all of the things that were important to us that we understood, even as the ancient ones here on this land, when we began to the build here before we went over to Kemet and all around the world. So this is so key for us. And the fact is that I didn't even have to convince when Charlene reached out to me. I didn't have to convince this. Here's the fascinating thing about this, Arisha Stone. I didn't even bring up my purpose and what I have been, really talking about to the tribes, in my mission relative to awakening divinity and the key in that. I didn't even have to bring that up. Charlene, she brought it up to me, and the understanding the importance of that. So helping us to understand that we are on the same page. And when we bring people out of this, when we help to awaken, the divine self within everyone, bring them out of that primal nature, that lower vibration, right? They're not going to have to worry about how they're going to eat, what they're going to wear, how they're going to pay their bills, right? How they're going to get their money. They ain't going to have to worry about that, because you know what? They're going to be in their ebb and flow. Everything that they seek will come to them. And now they're going to be just really along for the ride when they awaken that divine mind, right? Because when you put your divine mind in that driver's seat, right? Then I'm just telling you, it begins to take off.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
it's like, it's transformational.
I say.
Look, transformational. So, feathers back to you. And if people are vibing this, please, let's get some feathers and fires in the chat.
Speaking of fire, the last couple weeks was, especially last week, I've been getting hit with these solar flares, like crazy, man. My mood's been everywhere, sick, sad, happy, mad, all that good stuff. But the energy is like it feels like an upgrade at the same time. Chief Khalifa, I know I talked to you, and as soon as I talked to you, you would talk about the energy and feeling it. Tell
Yeah,
us a little
we
bit
be
more what you
getting
were talking
hit.
about.
We be getting hit because number one, we're gonna keep on getting hit to prepare us for 2030. But my sis here, she's the one that told me about the 812 event. And then let me tell you, the 812, I'm talking about the 812 confirmations, because I see energy and I can interpret. How I interpret energy is through the numbers, and through the numbers to the portals. So I'm constantly my um, through my eyes, I see like Neo. I see numbers everywhere. I see the codes everywhere. I'm decoding. I'll be at a stoplight and spirit will be like, decode the frame, and I'll just be doing like this, just separating the codes from each of the thing, each of whatever is in front of you, the symbols, and then tapping it in. And then with that, what you do is, because you're using the energy that's right here in the present, you're using that energy to feed it into whatever you're interpreting into the future timeline. So where was I going? Oh, the numbers. Yes. So we have been getting hit. I don't know if you've seen, there's an actual omega symbol through the weather right now that's shaped over the entire Turtle Island, with the buildup pressure that's actually in Texas right now. Is the omega symbol that is the weather forming a pattern, showing y'all what time it is over the whole entire US. It's crazy. I've been getting receipts through the weather all across the whole entire globe. Like spirit is like, we need y'all to get ready. So we're gonna keep on getting blasted with these mini solar flashes because 2030 gonna hit, and people gonna transition for real. People gonna really, the people who are not ascending, they finna fall out. They falling out now. So we have to prepare our bodies. Like we're in a series now. Like we have to learn how to hold as much white light as we can because that light is crystallizing in our body. So when it comes to the 2030 solar flash, we will have no issues because when it comes time for that 2043, your light body got to be prepared. Okay? You got to be prepared. So this is what we're all transitioning to. We're preparing for 2043. That's the main focus. But right now, it don't look like a lot of people is focused on 2043 right now. So what I pray for every day, y'all, every day I be listening because I hear the prayers through the angelic realm. Is for people to just start something, start a vision board, because the vision that you love that's coming through that heart chakra, that's coming from your super subconscious, right? Even just start with the vision board. Just start there because what happens is, and I'm gonna tell you what I did. What I did is I put my vision board right across from my bed. So when I wake up, my eyeballs is right on this vision board. When I go to sleep, I'm staring at that vision board. Because what happens is that you're building that future timeline and you're seeing the energy of it, of the things that you love and the things that you want to do, the projects that you want to do, how you want to make your money. And what's happening is the energy is running through the quantum field, and that spirit working in the background to align you. You got to be open-minded because remember, I did that shit. And then the next day, then I figured I didn't have no job no more. So you got to be able to release. You got to be open-minded. And Spirit said, you ain't going back to no 9 to 5. I was like, damn, okay. They were like, you got to trust it. You got to trust it. You got to trust the vision. Spirit is working in the background for your highest favor. When one door closes, it's automatically going to open. God math, 3 doors open, 3 more doors open. But you got to see the little wins. It may not all come into fruition because you might have to get rid of a whole bunch of karmic garbage. So they gonna be making moves for you, and you just gotta be like, okay, whatever happens, I trust it. However, it may be bad or good, but you gotta trust the fall offs because you're focusing on your vision, on your future highest timeline. So whatever is happening, you got to have trust and support that it's happening for your highest good. And then you realize you come into for real, and then you be like, and you just sit down and you look at every single little thing all the way back to when you were born, and you're gonna be like, damn, all this shit happened for a reason. And then you be like, okay. And then what I did was I said, okay, I'm not working on my earthly resume no more. I'm working on my cosmic resume. Now I got humanitarian shit to do. We working on the cosmic resumes.
Let's talk about it. Everybody talks about this wealth that they think magic gonna fall out of the sky, and they don't understand. We're looking at it right now. It's the easiest time to do what we're doing. This is way easier, because we have access to everything. We have access to each other. We have access to information. We have access to resources, and we are here acting like we're not. We got to do some with the information. So I love everything you just said. Right now, it's so easy to connect the goddesses and everything else, and it's more than just paperwork. It's about getting the land together. It's about doing something so simple as buying a couple chickens, buying a cow, buying small things, getting mushroom farms, etc., etc. Yeah. I also wanted to say that I want. Can you hear me? I also wanted to say, I want to give a big shout out to the Matriarch because I know social media is putting out there like we just dumb and we not unified and everything else. But I also wanted to give a shout out to the goddess Gwendolyn Wright, the Gwendolyn White. I'm sorry. Have y'all heard about her yet?
No.
It's Matriarch Monday, so I want to put a little light on her. She was the elderly woman that fought against the system, where a lot of these people, they don't want to fight against the system. They just want to lay down. This goddess actually just the lawyers did something bad to her mother, and she went and fought back, and she just shot two lawyers. You know what I'm saying, in real time. And I'm just saying that this is our people fighting back, and they're tired of the bullshit. They're tired of laying it down. So the same way these people can call our kids out of their names and get rich, and call each other, but calling our people all sorts of disrespecting and get rich, we need to support this goddess right here, Gwendolyn Wright, and everything she got going on. If we're going to talk about this matriarch, and then turn around and support each other and our business endeavors. So
And then I wanted to talk about the the wealth thing. How Charlene talked about the wealth, and our people's mindset of wealth is health.
I say,
So our people cannot get any wealth if their health is the way it is. Our people are deteriorating really bad based on the way they eat, the behaviors, the lifestyles, their thinking. Um, they have to heal themselves because it's hard to, it's going to be hard for them to hold that wealth if the body is dense. The body is still in the old programming of survival mode, the old programming of I gotta work a 9 to 5, the old programming of the distortion. So we are preparing for that solar flash, and we have, like she said, the mini one in August. We have to prepare the mind and the body because you can't hold the light with the density and the distortion. The light won't even reach our people. The light will, it's not even going to reach them because they don't hold the nutritional, they don't fast. They're not preparing and cleansing the mind and the body. And in order to have wealth, you have to have health. So a lot of my program is going to be getting my people into that health mindset so that they can hold the wealth that's coming in for us as a people. We have to do a whole 360 as a people because we have been so cut off from our true divinity. Um, and the preparation comes from that detoxing, that cleansing the body, cleansing the mind, and getting ourselves back in alignment.
I'm
You
doing
know,
all
I
the
say,
my bad.
I
Tell
say,
the people,
feathers to the sacred goddess. To her point. Oh, sorry, did not mean to interject. Arisha Stone,
no,
please,
my
if you
phone.
have something to say.
No, yeah, I wanted to ask her a question because my phone was on mute. I wanted to ask her because she was kept on talking about what she's doing. Please tell us more about this business that you're starting, so they know, and how can we support it? Like, what where is it going to be a Wellsprings Sacred Goddess?
So it's going to start online first, where women will be, they'll come into a course. They'll get coaching first. They'll get an assessment first. They have to call, and I have to assess what's going on in their life. And then I'm going to give them a blueprint based on where I think they need to go. Some can start with the ebook, some will have to go directly to the course. Some will need more mental help. I'll be sending them over to Chief Khalifa, who's dealing with that aspect. Some will not be ready for the temple because they need more of a mental health thing, which I'm not skilled in. She has the degrees in that stuff. So they can reach me right now on Instagram. I'm still putting together the temple now, and it's supposed to launch in the mid June. Um, and they can come in to get the support that they need. I can get them started on their journey so that they can prepare themselves for what's coming. That's what the temple was about, to prepare my people and get my people ready for these changes and transformations. Like right here in Atlanta, the women need so much here in Georgia, because I have the ability to like energetically read the energy of our people, and the wombs are heavy and distorted. They need a lot of womb work, a lot of cleansing and clearing distortions out of the womb space. Coming from, multiple partners, bad food, fibroids, endometriosis, all of that stuff. The wombs are need to be reclaimed, and that is one thing that is a major thing in my healing work is the reclaiming of the divine feminine womb, and to get the women back into their sovereign womb state. The wombs are out of control. So they can come onto my social media to follow me, follow my work. Is at I am Sacred Goddess. I'm sorry, at I am the Golden Goddess on Instagram. And I'll be putting up uh, shortly the program where they can call me and get started.
Yes, ma'am. And like I said, I love it because when you're looking at social media, we got to reverse engineer this thing because they always trying to pit us against each other. But the way y'all are talking is it's like we're finding more and more conscious goddesses, people that's in the divinity or the avatars, like the goddess said. I see Sekhmet right here, but we also said this is the Council of Khalifa, and I like always saying that because we talk about feng shui priests, people going out there teaching women to be women again, teaching men to be men again, teaching families to be families again. I think that's real important because a lot of us have lost that and got tricked out of our spot when it comes to our sacred place in the family. But Light Feather, go ahead. I know you were trying to say something, Goddess.
Sorry, I want to take myself off of mute. Yes. So in regards to Sacred Goddess's point, that yes, it's so real that we also, there's so many like the health challenges among our people, that one of the other things is part of the spiritual science that I'm going to be rolling out in my teaching to help our people to connect with our spiritual science here on this land, right? And when I say this land, I'm talking a spiritual science that this is something that belongs to our people, okay? That we just have to reclaim, okay? And we've reclaimed it, right? And my divine calling was Light Feather. I heard from the divine, reconnect, help the people to reconnect and make it your own. Make it your own because it is ours, right? And helping our people to connect with that, our spiritual science here. And why that's really important is part of that. We have natural, not just the herbs, because we are connected to the very soil of this land, the fauna of this land, the plant life. No, there's no other, there's no one else here that can match the DNA, okay, other than our people, okay. And why this is so key is part of our healing begins with our connecting with the not only the divine, but then our divine nature and nature itself. But also we have the innate ability to heal ourselves. We can attune to the frequencies, the keys within ourselves to actually begin the regeneration process of our organs, our tissues, within ourselves, right? So we are the microcosm of the very, macrocosm of the motherverse. And but we have to know the keys, right? You got to know the keys. But yes, there are, we already have, we have the knowledge, the methodology, to actually be, I love that. Yeah. I actually I wrote a song that actually has a statement that, that the, what they just basically said there. That's exactly right. But, yes, we are able to attune ourselves. You know how they have a lot of these devices and frequency machines and all of that. We have the only problem is, some of those devices, we don't know if those frequencies, the efficacy of them, because of the fact that, they might be based on lower frequencies, which, by the way, may be helpful in some areas, but may not be the right keys that we require. Meaning that it's kind of like we can't necessarily trust a lot of those devices. However, you can trust the device within yourself, right? Your own, the power of your own sound, right? To heal you, because that's an innate connection that you have with your own, genetic infrastructure. So this is why, all of these, the teachings and getting us back into that understanding is so key. Because once you know that, like, again, that also will help us in this, in the healing, the internal healing. And then any of the other things that we use, that we apply from our own, land, that we grow, as getting back into farming. Because yes, we are going, we're getting back into the farming. Make no mistake about that. See, people aren't going to have time when like we began the reclamation and start building our villages and our land, and building again, growing our own fruits and vegetables, having our own family farms, fork to table, farm to table, whatever you want to call it, restaurants within our own village communities. People aren't going to be in that, no longer going to be, you ain't going to need, you're going to be out of that fight or flight mode, because you're going to be too busy focused on the harvest and cultivating everything you're growing on your land. Right. And then, either selling it, not only, within our own stores, within our own restaurants and grocery stores within our own, our own villages, but also, having farmers markets, what we're going to just call, tribe farm markets. You know what I mean? So all of these things are going to be key. But the fact is that, yes, when we start, as we're cultivating and growing our own, growing our own fruits and vegetables on our land, the thing is that, getting those nutrients from the earth, right? Because we know what's going to be going in our soil, right? Not like what we're buying out of some of these grocery stores. When they talk about regenerative farming, when you look at a bag of hemp seeds, and it says regenerative farming, it's not what you think it is. You know what I mean? Because, you think about it, say, okay, regenerate derives from that word. Oh, that sounds great. But when you actually look up what regenerative farming means, right? And then, it's like, it's just not what you'd like to believe, because what they're doing is not for the health. I mean, someone taking, contaminated soil and planting new seeds that they're calling organic or bioengineered seeds, whatever you want to call it, in contaminated soil, growing seeds, growing food from that, and then selling in a supermarket, and then wonder why people don't get sick. And why are people in this state of the rest of that word, right? Why they're in this state of distress. The other thing is, because of all of these things that are happening, there are cultures, right, that understand, should I say, there are, like, when you look at certain traditions, they understand that organs, that your emotions do affect your health. And even when you look at, like TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, they even understand that they associate, certain chakra points and organs with, certain emotions. Because, and the bottom line is that, they understand this, is that, yes, your emotions have an impact on your overall wellness. So if someone is constantly in a state of distress, eventually it is going to have an impact on your body, biological functions. And that's without a doubt. So, and that's another reason why helping us getting back into our science and growing our own fruits and vegetables, when we're in that, we're able to nurture our bodies and begin that regeneration process that is critical, that we, our tribes and our people really need, right? And it's very, very vital. So,
I love what
feathers
you said.
to you, Alicia Stone.
No,
Back to
I
you.
love what you said. I gotta ask you a question. I gotta tag team with you because you said emotions affect our health, and when we say that, we sometimes we automatically think about the bad side of that. But what about the good side of that? When you say emotions affect our health, what happens when we get back to that? We talk about this nature. We get talking about our heart chakra. What happens when we get back into loving ourselves and loving each other again? How is that going to affect our health? Chief Khalifa.
I was gonna caveat off of what see. It's going to lead right into it, because what I was gonna go into was we have to look at the energy centers and understand that our body is basically a toroidal field, right? So we emit scalar energy from our body, right? From all 15 chakras, right? Because if you look at your auric field is basically expands to the size of a football field. So your chakras, everything needs to be cleared out, because when this is when we get into our X-Men type power and shit. Because when your auric field is totally clear, this is when you walk and have the whole angelic realm in you, right? Because you don't have no distortions. So everybody and their mama, all the ancestors and everybody, lottie dottie, walking with you. This is why they say we have the X-Men power, because can't nobody fuck with you, because everybody walking with you. Your auric field expands to the size of a football field, and this is how we actually reset and recalibrate the grid, right? Because we're walking around with, this is why we're better together, right? Because on some real stuff, so for my dad's birthday, I went to church with him, and I was in church, and the message was cool, but I was like, on some real, it's like maybe 100 people in here. Imagine if everybody had the same frequency as me. How that would fuck the field up. I'm talking about it'll
Um,
jack a whole city up.
I love what you just said. We better together, right? You ever watch Hancock?
No.
Hancock with Will Smith.
Oh yeah.
And then you know how they play it, where now you know he's the they slick telling about the real Superman charged
Yeah.
by the energy of but they try to make it seem like he's better apart from the divine feminine. But I like what you said.
Right.
What if we wrote the
Right.
story where we're more stronger together? They got to damn twist up the story a little bit and say, oh no,
They
you're stronger
do. They
apart.
do. On
But the
some
whole
real
time
stuff.
that story is about
Um,
Haru and his divine feminine.
yes.
So yeah, go ahead though.
Um, you gonna know, like I know what Marvel energy, character energy I use. I know when I be doing stuff. Like you like I know when I be doing stuff with that energy, because you know what character you're actually in, right? You know that you can use Thor's hammer, right? Because that's the thunder god. Like I know when I'm using the Valkyrie energy. And if you didn't know, if you watch Thor Asgard, Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok actually gave the codes to what is actually going to happen to Earth, because the Valkyrie came back, and then everybody got on the ship, and the goddess of death was casted out. Boom, fire everywhere. That's exactly what's going to happen in 2043.
Hey, people think this shit crazy, it sound funny, whatever, except for in the news, they talking about it right now in these so-called X-Files that they just released. Look, look, they didn't want you looking at the Epstein files, so they released the alien files. And in the alien files, they saying all the above. They saying what you can do with your third eye. Wait a minute, what certain people can do with their
They
third eye.
really fear us for a reason.
Look, the melanated people in America have been under the microscope for a very long time. What Cat Williams say? Look, just because they told the lie, don't mean they don't know the truth. So it's a
I'm
lot
trying to
going
tell
on.
you,
Yeah,
I learned when I learned of my energy when, because I got my 5 cats, right? So my kittens were across the street, and I got scared. And when I got scared and I went into that burst of energy because I screamed, I pulled a car over. Dude rolled down the window like, and I said, "Oh shit, I think I pulled this car over," because I was so scared for my kittens. So I pulled the energy in, and the car turned over and went into my driveway. He didn't even know what was going on.
I like you. Let's talk about it. I ain't never had nobody had this conversation before. You know what I'm saying? How y'all feel about telekinesis?
That shit is real. We need to practice it. Like we need to practice using and bending all of the elemental energies, because that is your magic. Like that's how I get my receipts. You have to learn how to bend the elemental energy. Um, but dang, we didn't went in a whole nother route because I
My
wanted
bad,
to
my bad,
talk
my bad.
about
Look, my bad.
No, but for real, because Light Feather touched on something, and I wanted to talk about the med beds because I know where to get the med beds. If y'all want to get a med bed, they cost 20 bands. But if on some real shit, if you trying to save somebody's life, it's an investment. His name is Dave Wong because Spirit was like, there's told me only two places where to get this frequency technology. And it's the technology that I'm gonna use in my own centers. Um, my centers ain't opening up. My center's not gonna be open up till the end of 2027. But I'm gonna be in Inglewood. I gotta take it to the people. So my community center is gonna be in Inglewood. We're gonna be open up by the end of 2027. But the med beds are available. You can start out without the bed and just the scalar energy, and it starts out I think at like $6,000. I've already got prices and everything for them because I'm preparing myself to open up my own healing, my holistic healing community center. But yeah.
Well, I'll say this: when you said 20,000, this is when the community comes in play. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
That's my little
Yes.
superpower. We'll bring each other together, and if $5 goes to her, and I do 10,
If
and you
that's
do
how you want to
100,
start it,
that
that's how you want to
twenty
start it,
thousand is
right?
not.
So at least
Yeah, because
you can
20,000
start
ain't a lot of money
healing
when you got
people
it. You know what I'm saying?
because
20,000 goes real fast, so it ain't that fast. It
it
ain't that hard to get.
it don't make, to me, honestly, on some real stuff, y'all, it's just real hard on me because, like, in my heart, it hurts to see people go through these health issues when we got the fucking technology to fucking heal people. Shouldn't nobody be dying no more?
I mean,
Like,
we also got to factor in nature and balance too. You know what I'm saying? Now,
but Nate, you listen, Dr. Yaki be healing people with his herbs. There's ways that you can. I've seen so many people heal from cancer just off of herbs without the frequency technology. So now imagine if you actually reprogram your mind to change your habits. It's just the reprogramming of the mind and telling yourself that you're healthy and you don't accept what's going on in your body. And that's just your body telling you that there's something else going on.
I see. Yes, ma'am. Sacred Goddess, you still with us?
We can't hear you, sis.
Hey, I'm here.
Yes, ma'am. We need to see your beautiful face. How you
I'm
feeling about
sorry,
this?
I had to step away for a second, but I'm here.
No, I love that I got new people on the show because I don't want them to think that it's only a handful of people doing it. We're
Oh, okay,
worldwide.
I'm here. I just had
Yeah.
to step away for a second.
And you said you're from California, right?
I am.
Talk to me I'm in elementary school. If we didn't know nothing about Queen Khalifa and who Queen Khalifa was, who is Queen Khalifa?
If we didn't know,
If I
you
didn't know who
asked.
Queen Khalifa was, explain to me who Queen Khalifa is.
Oh, she's the warrior goddess, one of the first that walked California. It was all warrior goddesses who was on that land, and Queen Khalifa was one of them. Okay, she was the first, a part of the first of the whole thing that washed up on the land of in the Bay Area in San Francisco. I did the grid work for her. She called me to do the work and showed me all the spots where they had all their stuff. Lake Merritt in Oakland, where they had all their sacred ceremonies. The Ferry Building in San Francisco was when the goddesses washed up on that region right there. All women. She took me to, where else? To Chinatown in San Francisco, the original Dragon, where the Chinese went and put their Chinatown right there. That was the Khalifa Dragon area. Where else she sent me in the city? The cathedral churches in the city, certain cathedral churches she made me go to go and anchor in the land. So I know who she is. She has a big presence. I haven't done the Southern California side, but I just know her presence of the Bay Area where I'm from and where she told me to go and anchor in her codes and go bring that energy to help reverse the distortions that's in that San Francisco Bay Area. Now I didn't get to do um, the Mirror Woods in the Mount Diablo, the Mount Tamalpais, some of the other places she told me to go to, but I got to go back and finish those. But she came to me out the blue. I knew about the warrior goddesses. I heard about them.
Y'all, I've been praying hard.
Because I'm from the
I've been
city.
praying hard. No, for real, I've been praying hard because I'm like, because with how Spirit sat me down and was like, okay, we need you to sit right here and just keep moving these codes throughout the grid. Because when I had went to Egypt last year, that's how I got my cosmic activation. And that was my first cosmic grid work. And I was sending energy from Karnak, of course, to Rapa Nui to Easter Island.
Hold on for a
That was
second. Can you reach your mic for talking second, goddess? Go ahead, goddess.
so my first like cosmic ley line activation was when I went to Egypt last year during my birthday. And it was during Easter, and it was during Ramadan, and it was during the time when they discovered the coils. So I had all of this rebirth energy in me, and I had my first like cosmic grid work assignment. So I was sending the energy from Karnak to Rapa Nui, which is where Easter Island is, and then send the energy from Easter Island back to here, where my home is. Because if you don't know, if you look at the 37 ley line on the grid on the map, the 37 is the golden ratio number, the 7-3 and the 3-7, right? So that ley line runs through the Central Valley. It runs through Oakland. It runs through San Francisco, and that's how we get to the Atlantis Gate, to the underworld.
Have y'all been to Mount Shasta yet?
Yes, that's where our people at. That's where
I
the
haven't
Anunnaki
been there.
live.
What about you, like brother?
Sorry. No, I haven't. We were actually, it's so interesting, tribe family, is that the vibration here, it's like how divine minds really do think alike. We were talking about telekinesis earlier, before on our call, Arisha Stone, before you brought that subject up. Another thing fascinating. No, I haven't been to Shasta, but we were talking about Mount Shasta, and she was Charlene, the goddess, was sharing her experience at Mount Shasta. And then here's one thing I want to share, because this is really key. Sacred Goddess, she created a segue to one of the topics. That's why I said the whole thing is just the vibration in this room is so amazing right now, so powerful. The frequency is that she created a segue when she was talking about Khalifa, Queen Khalifa, that in the ancient Chinese shamanic tradition, there is the most sacred mountain that they regard as the most sacred mountain. Okay. Is Kunlun, okay? And from that mountain, okay, they resided where they received their shamanic teachings, Chinese shamanic teachings, as well as their understanding, of Taoism. They received their teachings from who they refer to as the Great Mother of the West, who resided there. And notice, they said the Great Mother of the West. They did not say the Great Mother of the East, right? Because remember, it's the Far East, right? So, and then also, not only that, right? The who they refer to as one of their first emperors, which they refer to, I believe, as the Yellow Emperor. Also, where he received his Taoist teachings was from the Great Mother. As well as the, I believe his name was Lao Xing, who one of their sages at the time, who had written one of their earliest texts referred to as the Tao Te Ching. Okay, also contributes his earliest work in that understanding of Taoism from the teachings of the great mother of the West. So what this helps us to understand, why is this so important? Why is this so so key? Is that even in the most ancient traditions all around the world, right? I don't care whether you're talking to, you're talking about Sufism, you're talking about, we already know, relative to Tom Murray, Kemet, but even, Kabbalah, all of it, no matter where you look relative to the most ancient traditions around the world, okay? And let's not, and even the Vedas, Vedic, tradition, that it all relates back to the divine mother, okay? And again, the matriarchy. And then the fascinating thing is, even in the East, they relate it back to the mother of the West. So where do you think they got their teaching from? That, essentially we were all around the world. The earliest civilization began with the matriarchy and the understanding. All of the divine teachings derived from our really sacred mystery learning centers. Tribe fam, I hope you're vibing this and really understand how impactful and powerful this information is, because it's just an affirmation of who we are and why we're here. And so when Sacred God has shared that is exactly right. Why you see, you saw what you see in California, relative, even in Chinatown and those areas, relative to again paying tribute to the great mother and the Khalifa queens, because there were more than one, right, that obviously existed. So that had taken that seat over, here, on the way, in the West. So feathers to all of the matriarch gods on this call, and obviously to Arisha Stone, who has brought us together. Much gratitude.
And then I just want to add too that we are here to bring the reversals, because what she was saying was they're still siphoning her energy in California. They're siphoning the Kundalini of Khalifa, and they're diverted it. So it's distorted and it's been flipped. So we have to reflip that energy to bring it back to the proper place, because they're still feeding off of her energy. They're still like using it for the distortions, So we are called to go and clear that up. The grid workers who have contracted to do this work, to reverse what they have taken from those points where they built the churches and all those stuff, all those places. Those are all points, powerful energy points, where Khalifa and the rest of the warrior goddesses did all their ceremonies, all their sacred rituals and stuff. So they're still feeding off of that, like the cathedral, that big cathedral on Gary Street is built right over a big ceremonial site that she had there. So that's why I had to go there and walk around barefoot to anchor in those codes, So we have to bring everything back into balance. This is what this is about, because everything got distorted and reversed.
Man, I love that you said that. Hold on, this guy's right here ain't playing. Because when she was talking about the energy centers, and I love how Chief Khalifa brought up the ley lines. That's the whole point of me bringing up Mount Shasta. Everything was just perfect. If it didn't go over their head, but also when she was talking about those energy portals, that's why I asked y'all if y'all been to Mount Shasta, because you can actually do rituals there.
Yes.
That's like the root chakra of the earth.
Yes.
And I'm gonna raise you one.
So I'm
Have you ever
90
heard of
degrees
Jekyll Island
south.
in Georgia? Jekyll Island. Yeah, we did a reversal. That's where I know it's everything you're saying to be true, because once you go there and do your reversal energies, or whatever, however you want to do it, whatever kind of juju you put on them, and you put that reversal on it, you'll see it's very tangible in real time once you do these things. You know what I'm saying? Look up Jekyll Island and how it's all juju. The reason I'm talking about this is just like you said, they put their centers on top of those Indian mounds.
Let
Go
me
ahead,
go into
guys.
something real quick. So yes, because how they listen. I've been doing this research to figure out how they got us fucked up in California. So what happened was, In the early 1900s, there's a billionaire couple. So, and you already know what time it is, right? So there was a billionaire couple. They somehow came into power, and they own like almost all the water in California, right? So what they do was they've been selling paper water. If you know how sky high our utilities are in California, so they selling people paper water. They're saying we don't have water when we really actually do have water. And the company, the billionaire couple, their actual name is the Resnicks. I've had to do a lot of research, right? I had to do some rituals and everything because I couldn't figure out. So when I was doing my master's program, I did a paper on how the area code. I live in Stockton, California. Um, the sisters in the area code is 209. So the sister city is actually Savannah, Georgia, right? Because it's the reversal of the number portals, right? So this is an agriculture town. I live in the middle in the San Joaquin Valley, where we produce 60 to 65% of the GDP of the gross domestic product for the whole United States. Why everywhere I go is raggedy? So I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. How am I centered around all of the agriculture towns, and everywhere I go is ran down? So also too, what happened is the Bay Area stood up during the technology, and people who couldn't afford to live there, they turned around and moved down to the valley, right? So they're still making their money out in the Bay, but nothing is going on out here in the valley. No money is getting poured into the valley. But there's still somebody, I'm trying to figure out where is the money going, because obviously we're producing all of this food, but there's no money. Look, I'm talking about it's raggedy out here. So they're siphoning our energy. They are siphoning our energy in California. And we already know what time it is with the solar. They done got people over with the solar, because if you used to get solar, you used to get 1 kilowatt. So if you download one, you put one on the grid, then you get one back. Now with the solar, how they getting folks is that if you put one on, because you're putting the energy onto the grid, you only get 3/4 back. They keeping their quarter. So it's all types of fraud going on when it comes to the energy,
Now, can I
our
ask you a
water,
question?
and our infrastructure.
With that, are you into solar at all, or do you mess with solar energy at all, or
I
looked
have
into it?
solar on my house, and then they changed the law, and I was like, I ain't even gonna get it no more. I'm gonna wait till all this, happens. But I have, when I tell you, Source has aligned me with people who got codes. I know somebody who worked at the energy companies. I know somebody who at the water. So they like, when it comes time for this transformation, you already got resources on people who up in there.
Yes, ma'am.
It is
Yeah,
a lot going on in California. I try not to get overwhelmed because it's a lot. It's a lot.
I say.
To add to that, on point, there are so many of all of our mineral wealth and natural resources that have been that essentially, we hear our brothers like Chief Pontiac talking about, hey, they can't touch the mineral wealth, yet they touch some of the stuff that they choose to. But for the most part, what we're seeing is that they have been essentially usurping, not just the usufruct of the lands, by way of squatter rights, but even, harnessing, the energy of the people, and also the fact how they have been literally just, galvanizing all of our resources, and they have been, stealing that as well, and then essentially galvanizing it and then charging it back, having our people pay for our own, and this not just us, the people period on the land pay for resources that actually are already paid for through the fact that, the mineral wealth, we already have enough mineral wealth to really feed not just, Turtle Island, but the entire world. That's how wealthy we are. I had a family member, say to me that, she said that she found on our property, like, and this is my home, this is my family's home, that she found actual crystals. She found a crystal in our backyard, a crystal, okay, of amethyst, because she said it was purple. So what is that telling you? That is telling you that my property, my family property, is standing underneath a mine. It's on a mine, right? And that's just one crystal. That's just one that we know. I mean, there's probably all types of different, minerals with underground. Because remember, when they were usurping our land, they weren't just stealing the mineral rights, from, or just taking the land. Also, they have been, utilizing what underneath the land by their, bringing in these industrial, complex, industries that have been literally mining a lot of our mineral wealth. Like, and that's happening a lot in like the West Indies. Like, you find in like places like, the Caribbean, you hear the stories that they've got like people like companies coming from China actually mining what they refer to as the mineral bauxite, and that's what produces, I believe, aluminium or aluminum is what they would like to refer to. But yes, they have been literally just galvanizing and ravaging not only the planet, but our land especially. And it doesn't make sense when like she said, you can feed the entire, and then here's another thing, the energy situation. I just found out that our actual municipality out here where I'm at, and family, let me help you understand how divine mind, the light code activation, when I talk about the divine mind, how it's real. One night, I got up in the middle of the night because I was getting ready to go to bed, and I got up in the middle of the night and I was like, you know what, I got to go, let me go online, and I was in the process of just, paying my, my electric bill. And because I was like, yeah, I probably need to do that. And instead of waiting the next day, I'm one of these people, I don't like to put off something I can do the same day. So I just went on my phone real quick just to look. And, and then I thought about it as I was, getting in the process of doing that. Something told me to, for whatever reason, I just began to, scroll down at the bottom of the web page where, my, the electric company, their website. And I went on and I, typically I don't do that. I just go up to the top, click the menu button. And for whatever reason, I scrolled down at the bottom of the page, and then I saw something that said free Wi-Fi, free Wi-Fi. So I had clicked on it, and I looked, when I clicked on it, it just basically stated in short that, it's one of the benefits of being a municipality, the owner of our own municipality, that most of my neighbors don't even know they're actually owners of their own, they're owners of the municipality. And why wouldn't they be, right? All these things that they've been lying to the people. They haven't been telling them, that they are partners. Yes, they're partners in their own municipality. And why wouldn't they be? Especially we, the original people, we're the owners of it, right? Because it's standing on tribal and ancestral lands, right? They're fixtures. So, but the point is, I laugh because it basically stated this is just one of the many, benefits of being, a partner and a municipality owner, that we get free Wi-Fi. Now, I was fascinated, so I had asked one of my neighbors. I said, "Were you aware that we get free Wi-Fi?" Because your Wi-Fi bill's anywhere from $50 to $60. Some people are paying $75 a month for Wi-Fi. And one of my neighbors was like, "No, I didn't know anything about it." So this is divine mind helping me to, these things that, you just help. It helps you to, really discover all of these things, right? And that was fast. And it even tells you how to get it, how to turn it on and connect it. And you can obviously call their 800 number. But that's the point of what I'm making, is that most people, we're all supposed to be people aren't supposed to be paying for energy. They're not supposed to be paying for internet, because the internet, that's why they call it, when you go out, remember, you turn your phone on mobile data, which means you're accessing it from, the route, the Wi-Fi, because this is all based on the scalar field. So, yeah. Feathers back to you, Arisha Stone.
No, look, you said a whole lot. um, Man, before we get out of here, first off, Life Feather, how can we support everything you got going on? Tell us what you got going, like what you got as far as your business. How can we support you? Just we ain't getting out of here anytime soon. I'm just saying I want to push that too.
Gratitude, Arisha Stone. So, really, what would be helpful for me, because I'm just to let the tribes know, one of my missions is I'm actually in the process of I'm going to be putting together a spiritual workshop that is going to begin to teach. My goal is to get this done, set up probably in the next couple of months, is what I'm shooting for, maybe in the next, hopefully 2 months, to announce it. And then, we can connect to talk about that a little further, Arisha Stone. But because I want to be able to talk about the spiritual science, to kind of introduce it, once, the workshop, I'm ready to roll that out. But I'm in the process of setting up that workshop. I'm going to organize that for the tribes to begin to teach the spiritual.
Talk about your program about the totem, because that's what we
well
need.
That's exactly
go into. Everybody needs to look up what their Olmec energy is, right?
Well, we're gonna do a show. We're gonna do a show just on that.
But touch on it, because it's important, right? You need to know what's on your totem, because I be using the fuck out of my ego energy. I be using my animal. Listen, one time I used my ego energy so bad, Spirit was like, go get some chicken, because you need some bird energy. Like,
right on. I mean, yes, and that's what I want to do, a separate show just on that, and we can engage you as well, because I'm going to share my experience of how I actually was able to connect to my totem. And people, when you hear this experience, it's just going to really blow your mind that it's the totem. Let me tell you something. The totems are very real. And it is part of our science. And that's what I'm going to be teaching in my workshop, to help people to reconnect. But it's going to help them really become one with nature, the land, and also connect them. It's all interconnected with the divine mind. Okay. And that's so okay, that's right. And it's really key. And I'm going to be doing that. I'm going to be rolling that workshop out to the people. So and I really want to do a dedicated show on that, because I'm going to share my experience with the tribe family and and all that great stuff. So I really want to kind of hold that. I want to dovetail that, at that, and right around the time when I'm ready to roll out and launch that. Because it's going to be it's going to be amazing and really important for the tribes. And I'm telling you, man, we're going to see this, things are speeding up really fast. Exactly what when Charlene explained and shared with me her experience of how her light code activation, and her Shakti awakening happened literally way faster than mine. I mean, like hers happened in a matter. Mine happened over a period of time, a period of years. Hers happened literally, it sounds like to me, overnight. And in a matter of 2 years, but that's the energy that we're in on this planet with, the solar flares, all of the activity that's happening here. So there's an interspiritual elevation of just happening. And like she said, if people are not ready for it, they're not going to have to worry about anything, because thank you. Exactly. They're not going to have to, they're not going to have time to even, let's put it this way. If people do not get into and connect with it, like she said, we're going to have some, I hate to say it, but I don't know if everybody is going to, what she said. I don't even want to get into it, but I really feel it's going to be that vital life force that is going to really help. And also to begin to build, help us to unify too. But yes, that the workshop I'm going to be doing in a couple months, I'm going to be rolling that out, and we're going to do a special show on that and talk about the whole totem, connection and with us. And then also the other thing, but in the interim, to help me, look, if you want, if you want to, if you want to, like, I got to look up my Cash App, but I mean, I accept donations, but really would be helpful is to buy a t-shirt, buy some of my story wear. And that is, you can find it on, if you go to I believe it's, or what you can do is, why don't you do this? If you shoot me an email, I can send you the link to order it, but you can actually find it on Etsy. My t-shirts, it's under my my Tribal Academy name, which is wow, I haven't been on my Etsy site. I believe it is it's the name of my website. I'm going to look for it, and I'll give me a minute to look for it, and the other
Yeah, no worries.
goddesses can share because I got to look. I can't even remember the name, but I'm going to direct them to the site. But yeah, if they want to purchase a t-shirt, and I know Arisha Stone, I owe you a t-shirt, you and Abiki, I'm going to send you one. But and also I want to make an announcement. I'm working on a really cool t-shirt that for Turtle Island. Okay, I'm working on a new t-shirt and I'm going to do a huge big sale on that. I'm going to do it on my platform as well. But you know, like I'm going to have that probably in a few weeks. I'm going to have that t-shirt live. I'm going to add that's because I've already got some really cool t-shirts with some of the chiefs on there too, both men and women chiefs. And then also have some you know, I've got some also there's some comedic ones as well that's really cool with Mayat. But t-shirts that I'm selling, I'm sorry, it's called Tribe Vibe. So it's called Tribe Vibe Academy. So if you go to SD and you just search for Tribe Vibe Academy, you should be able to find it on SD. But also it's called Tribe Vibe Academy. Here's one of my shirts right now. Let me show you.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you guys see it?
I'm about to blow you up. I like it.
Right. And see, I did the logo and everything. You see the totem action, right? So yeah, they're really cool, and they come in all kinds of colors. So you know,
Man,
and that's just one of them.
you about to be rich. That's all you have to do is show the shirt. They about to buy all them shirts right up the rack. They spend all the money. I saw a bunch of retards out there buying a damn Tubby watch. They'll buy the shirt. You know what I'm saying? They spend $1,000 on a Tubby watch.
I mean, really, and the thing, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna discount them. And the thing that's really cool about the shirts, for me, it's really the energy that goes out in the ethers. Okay, this is going to help to awaken the eyes of camera. When we see more of our people wearing our totem energy and our totem shirts, you know, my story where it helps to awaken the minds of our people. And they're like, well, wait a minute, you know, these chiefs don't look like the stuff that I was learning in school. These people are these chiefs are melanated. Or, you know, when you see Mayat's feathers in her headband on my shirt, well, wait a minute, where does that connect you to? Then you begin to see the correlation of the culture over in Kemet and, you know, with our culture that, yes, our matriarchs wore headbands and feathers too. That is not random. That is not a coincidence, tribe. So all of this is, you know, really key. And then the cool little turtle tees I'm going to be rolling out, which is going to have like the whole Turtle Island on it. That's going to be pretty cool too. So that's a new one I'm designing that I should have out in a few weeks. So, but if you look go to again, SD and then SD.com. And if you just go in the search mode and just type in Tribe Vibe Academy. And then you can even Google, or even one of my shirts, just type in like, you know, Dolby, D as in David, O-L, B as in boy, Y, Dolby T. That will bring up one of my shirts too. So you can connect either way. You guys can replay this back too. When you replay back this video, you'll be able to get that information. But yeah, you'll find it on Tribe Vibe Academy. It will be on there on SD. And then the other thing is you can also send me an email and I can send you a link to I believe it's email is Chief Tribe, just like it sounds, Chief and then Tribe at mail, M-A-I-L, fence, like a fence, F as in Frank, ENCE.com, right? And so, yeah, and if you can email me, I can send you the link and that way as well. But yeah, you know, to support me, just support that because that's the energy to help bring about this restoration. Purchasing the cultural teas that I sell, you know, and that storyboard. You remember you were talking about a storyboard, Charlene? Well, that's a storyboard in itself, my teas, right? Because there's nothing out there like that right now, you know, even with the design. That's pretty cool. So yeah, and by the way, it's interesting. You said storyboard. Guess what? I actually I created my storyboard 3 years ago. I got one too. But now, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually print mine out. And because I have mine on my phone, but I'm gonna print mine and my computer, but I'm gonna print it out. And I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna paste it and I'm build on it. But yes, I did my storyboard like 3 years ago. So again, nothing random here. Gratitude.
Chief Khalifa, I love your energy.
Thank
You jumped right into it. We ain't gonna fast forward what you said about getting your kingdom and everything else. Have you tapped in with Goddess Matriarch from Melanated Immortals?
Okay, listen. Short story. I just woke up like a year and a half ago. So, because I was in the military.
Yes, ma'am.
So I am really just now coming into. I'm woke. Yeah, I know everything, but now I'm like, Spirit is like, okay, you did everything that you needed to do as far as for yourself. Now you got to start connecting with people. Because on some real shit, I wasn't taught. I literally been in seclusion. I've been in seclusion. So I'm not really connected. These are the first 2 women I connected with.
Oh, you hear it now? You hear it now? You're part of the tribe now. We love your energy. Most definitely going, like, that's what we're doing right now. Everybody that comes on has something to offer to the tribe, and when we connect, instead of just talking about it and start putting the energy into it, they everywhere around the world they got the politics are making rap videos now. Iran just made a rap video. President Trump just made a rap. Everybody watching. Everybody want to be Black American. Everybody want to get Black American attention.
It's about to go down.
You see what I'm saying? So they know the energy that we have. They know the power that y'all have, especially so we can't be distracted. I love what you said about getting your kingdom because you're absolutely right. You are connected with everybody because you're here now. You know what I'm saying? If they see you, we see you. You know what I'm saying? You see us. This is what we need to do. Even when it comes to the feathers, like God is always talking about the feathers. Learn how to put the feathers in your hair because every feather represents something different in the tribe.
Yes, I should.
You know what I'm saying? We also this goddess right here has a great show. She has a great show on her YouTube, and we were talking about getting connected. You guys can go on her show sometimes, and y'all can vice versa. I saw y'all show the other day, and that's how we get connected. We create our own network. We reverse engineer the what they're putting out there. They putting out there like all of our women are sexy reds. All of it, they're doing the same thing to the children that they did to the children in the 90s.
Yeah.
So now they're just doing it on the women.
So yeah. So on some real shit, like we know that we have to basically start filtering through who is the best allele DNA in our family. We need to be able to figure out who is who because we know everybody that look like us ain't us. And yeah, we can have, all the community come together, but we know some of them motherfuckers gonna show up.
Well, see, it's the ages back in the day. Let me tell you how they showed up, and not to cut your wisdom, but now we have Queen Khalifa. Now we got Life Feather. Now we got Sacred Goddess. Now we got Divinity Goddess. We got women that can actually do. We got Goddess Matriarch. We got Odayemi. The reason I said it because y'all can do the readings on these things, and now you go through a rites of passage before you even get to the tribe. We're not just friendly. Everybody, hey, come on, welcome in. This guy just said,
portals.
Yeah, this guy just said you got to go through healing sessions.
I didn't close some demonic portals. I didn't, when it's a possessed woman, it was 2 possessed women and they started glitching like right in front of me. Like, it was crazy. Like, spirit is really like, okay, look, it's going to be some bigger shit. So you got to, it's like little steps that you have to go through, right? So it's like on the smaller scale, okay, I see what's going on. Check to see what's going on. Close that portal, whatever they doing, we already know, we're acknowledging, right? Okay, this is what they're doing. They're on this level, and eventually, because our energy is really what's going to shut this shit down. So there's going to be steps, right, up into what your power, what you're capable of shutting down. And we're better together, but yeah, we gotta know our energy, especially our totem energy. It's actually really helped me.
I'm the same way. I'm big on my serpent totem, and everything you're saying when you realize we talk about Queen Khalifa and everything you're saying about, and you're holding that name, Chief Khalifa. Khalifa has a bunch of wild, exotic animals. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying? Livestock and all sorts of. We talking about just chickens. We talking about cows, but we got to start talking about birds of prey. Imagine
yes,
when you go to the bird
yes.
of prey game. Imagine when you start. I'm into ball pythons, but imagine when we start getting into the American totem for the serpent isn't the ball python. I love ball pythons, but the totem for America is the pit viper, the
Yeah.
mother viper. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know I
Um,
be with my bear energy because it's the cosmic bear. It's the Ursa Major.
I say. No, I most definitely. Yeah, I rock with your Aquarius energy.
One thing I
Oh,
And
do
with
want to
me,
go ahead, sis.
I like people, they can't even get through my temple unless they go through the initiation. So it's not because the women who come out of my sacred temple are going to be ready for to step into their own leaderships because we're going to need to grow this thing. We that's what we're here for. We're the leaders, we're the forerunners, the big mamas, but we're gonna have to create those under us. We're gonna have to get those under us ready to do the work too. So they have to go through the initiation process. They can't just come in and play around. If they can't pass the initiations, they will be dropped out and they have to do something else until they're ready. So people will be vetted before they able to even pass through what I'm bringing forth because that's what the consultations is about to see if I can help them first. And if I can't, then they'll be sent somewhere else. But it's definitely gonna be like a layer um, of certain rites of passage and different things that these women have to go through to make sure that they truly purge and heal themselves so they can be better for their next lineage and their generations because the womb is the what carries the distortion. Without the cleansing of that, you're just going to keep cycling because you're carrying the ancestral trauma in the womb space. When I got my clearing done, y'all don't even want to know what they found in there. So I can't do anything for anyone else if I didn't clear myself first. So now I know what kind of distortion lies in the womb. I'm like, yeah, our women are carrying a lot because we're ancient. We're holding all of that stuff from all these grandmothers and generations past, and I came in with it, and it was a lot. So when I tapped into the women here, they have that same heaviness in that womb. So without the purging and purification of the womb, it's not gonna be healthy for anybody. So it's gonna be work for these women. This is not gonna be a easy. My program is not gonna be easy, but it's gonna be worth it when they're done with the initiations and when they pass through.
I say. I love it. Like I said, I love what you just said. Like everybody ain't welcome to the what they call to the picnic and whatnot. I know what picnic mean, but everybody ain't welcome just because we all skin folk. Because like you said, there's gonna be a lot of people that try to sabotage. A lot of people that just come in just to see what y'all got going on. So y'all got to be serious about your sisterhood or your matriarch in general. You know what I'm saying? This matriarch economics. Most definitely tap in with Melanated Immortals because they have a sisterhood over there and they have a whole structure and setup system. I love it. You know what I'm saying? The Phoenix circles, the Council Khalifa, all y'all are doing amazing things. And like I say, after we start doing the healing, or even if you aren't doing the healing, bring what you can bring your superpower to the collective. You know what I'm saying? So we can go ahead and speed this thing up. We don't. It ain't no 2-3 year process. We can do a lot of this stuff in 6 months to a year if we really tap in. You know what I'm saying? Chief Khalifa, give us your cash app. We trying to go ahead and buy that med bed you talking about. You said 20,000. What's the cash app?
Listen, you ain't got to cash at me. You don't got to cash at me. I just need everybody to just follow me I go by my L name on Instagram, Atari. My actual L name is Shah Loon Atari Elohim, the one who shines the light in the game. Okay. So my Instagram is Atari underscore Elohim. Just follow me. I'm gonna be documenting my journey to through all of this, right? Because this is big. Like it's about to go crazy. What and especially us as the matriarch to come together because one thing that I always do is I always put a protection spell on our projects, right? So they can't fuck with us. So we got to come together. We got to bless I always bless our projects. You know, whatever we bring forth, nobody will be infiltrating, even trying to infiltrate us, you know, trying to hold us down. We're going to be able to do what we need to do with ease because can't nobody block us because we on divine time right now. It's literally about to be a galactic intervention. You feel me? It's
Yes, ma'am.
literally about to be a galactic intervention, and these motherfuckers can't fuck with us no more. Like Ross said, we at critical mass. Like we at the point to where we can't take it no more for our mental health, right? Like the suppression is fucking with us, right? So one thing that I know that I have to work on, that I have to get with the other matriarchs, is that we have to make sure that the tribal law, it is implied that we mean, and we what we say is galactic law, right? Because everything that we do is through spirit, right? But it needs to be well known and implied when we talking about tribal law. Listen, it's about to be galactic law in this motherfucker because it's a top down takeover. It's a top down takeover.
They
We
don't
going from the
understand how
top
important
down.
it is. Once we self-identify and we create our own governments, we free ourselves from the system. The same system, like I said, that they've been proven guilty of child molestation. They've been proven guilty of sex trafficking. They've been proven guilty, but their law says they're not going to be convicted of that. We don't want no parts of that. We don't want to vote on y'all. Just give, you know what I'm saying, give us what y'all owe us, the land, and go about your business. Go to Ireland, go to Scotland, go wherever
Period.
y'all want to go. Leave us alone. I ain't worried about feeding everybody. I worry about Turtle Island. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
you
saying?
feel me?
Well,
Yes.
so once we get this land right, we'll worry
Yes.
about how we take care of
Yes.
everybody else through business and commerce. That's
Yes.
we got to get out the illusion and the romantic
If we're
aspect
literally,
of
we literally are gonna be running this shit, right?
yes, ma'am. And now
And
that goes
we,
back to what you said about being in the military.
yeah,
We need that
listen, I
expertise
got a whole
because
team. I have a
yeah,
whole
we
team.
need I trust. We need that expertise because
We
a lot of
do.
dudes I talk
Listen, I
to,
got them lined up. I
you
got
know
them
what I'm
lined
saying?
up. Some of them are not all the way spiritually awakened yet. So I'm kind of like, okay, y'all, get ready. But I have to ease them into it because part of my projects is that like the first one is going to be in LA in Inglewood, but the chain of community centers that I'm opening up is basically going to be communication hubs. Because when it comes time for us to be talking to, the galactic team, we need to have security, the right frequency. It's going to be some shit to where it's like we're going to have the holographics. Oh, I already got the holographic tables picked out, y'all. Like, when how you see it in the movies, like the technology that I'm being lined up with is how we're gonna have it, to where we're gonna be able to look at your chakras, pull a human pull up your chakras on a table. We're gonna be able to show like which blockages you have to really educate people, but we also gonna be talking about business too. So we're gonna be making, announcements and everything that's gonna be going on for this 2030 event and for the 2043. Because we gotta start telling people what's going on.
Passing word. I say.
And
I say.
another thing we need to touch on is that if you know people who, and do it with love, and not to be what's going on, but on some real stuff, like if you have friends that are lawyers, or they're in law school or like in law, like just have a loving conversation with them and let them know, like, hey, you may not know what's going on, but you might want to look into tribal law because this is what's going to happen, right? And we need people to help us get our people out, but we also don't want them to be stuck. Like, damn, all this is going on, and they're like totally not even prepared because this is the transformational time because we in between timelines. So at least if we could put like the little bugs in their ear, like, hey, you may not know, but the restoration of the land is happening. It's going to be returned to the matriarch. Like, you might want to start looking into tribal law, right? At least it will, they may not pay attention to it, but something in their, or just talk to the soul. That's what I be doing sometimes. I'm like, I'm just going to go ahead and talk to their spirit. They may not understand it, but they're going to receive the information in their eyes. Their spirit is going to understand it. Their higher self is going to understand it, because the ones who are the lawyers, like, we don't want them to be they're gonna be messed up, right? Because tribal law is totally different. The education that they got is based on a U.S. corporation.
Well, I know one thing. It's gonna flip real fast because
I know.
one thing we saw in the 90s when you saw the Nation of Islam, it flipped real fast. Everybody wanted to be a Muslim in the 60s because we want order. We're designed by nature. If we know that we follow the matriarch like the ants and the bees, we don't mind our structure. Everybody don't have to be a priest. Everybody ain't the high priest, and everybody ain't the high chief. If you got military people, spirituality don't mean we gotta announce and everything else. Spiritual means they might be spiritual warriors. They might be teaching us how to
I know who they
guerrilla
are. Honestly,
combat.
I know who they are.
Yeah,
But
you see what I'm saying?
this is
Yeah, no,
the
and
world
I'm
is
just
gonna
saying, all of us, we all got a role and purpose. So we need all of everybody. It ain't no big eyes, little U's. It's tribal. Tribal means everybody. If you know how to get out here and survive in nature, we need you.
Come
If
on.
you know how to take care of these animals, we need you. If you know how to take care of these babies right now, we need you. If you know how to send, if we're about to die, we need death doulas the same way we need life doulas.
I know.
We need more
I
midwives.
know.
When
I
we say
know.
health is wealth,
Yes.
and we say health is wealth, and you see that the police system is cracking down, like being destroyed, dismantled. We see the medical systems are being dismantled to the point where a white man is suing a black site for trying to put out for black doctors. I'm not sure if y'all heard about that or not, but a white man suing them for because he wants to fight for the right to give malpractice on y'all, to study y'all. They're fighting for their right. They hate us so much, but they want your dollar. They want you to come through their hospitals. Look in the news. They're talking about that right now. A white man is suing a black site for trying to find black doctors and black healers.
Well, did
So
you
right
see
now,
about the woman who was in labor and the judge came on the iPad? She was in straight labor. The judge came on the iPad and they was like, well, she was refusing a C-section. And they was like, well, since you're refusing medical help, she looked like us. They come on the iPad. It's lawyers and a judge on the fucking iPad right in front of her while she's fucking trying to give birth. It is a war on our health.
look, you said it earlier. That X-Men power. Listen, Professor X, that bald-headed white man always represent the Nazi or the Ku the Klan to me, the bald-headed white man, right? And the first thing the bald-headed white man always try to do is get in your head and control your power. He ain't want Jean Grey to be the Phoenix. He ain't want Storm to be Oya. He want to make sure they be the white man with the bald head gonna make sure you know what I'm saying? So when they come out with all these little TV shows and slick laughing in your face, the boys, they telling you they want to control all their power. They don't want you to step into that power. So once you start controlling your health, the goddess, we got to go back to what Life Brother said. She said your emotions control your health. If we always in a low, now we don't always got to think about the negative aspect of it. Think about the positive aspect of it. We getting that heart chakra, we getting that nature chakra. Hey, listen.
But here's the thing: when you are in to answer that question, you raised a great question, Arisha Stone, Sky Serpent, that when you are in if you're happy and you're feeling the emotions of joy, happiness, compassion, those type of emotions, well, that's a different energy that you're emitting out in the ethers, right? In the, the etheric field. So naturally, what is that? Those emotions, joy, happiness, that love, just the power of love, all of those are considered, positive emotions, that help to what? That's going to raise your vibration, right? That's going to raise your frequency. Those are good emotions. Those are great emotions, actually. Those are the emotions that you want to be emitting out there, in the ethers, not the lower vibrational that has you in your base chakra. That's the ones that you don't want, that they, with that steady diet of, fake news, that's usually derogatory, and just negative to continue to drive, they want to try to drive people, they want to stir up their lower extremities, and emotions to really, again, they want to keep them grounded. They don't want people to really raise their vibration relative to ascension. So yeah, that's why, you see that on the news, that really, that's a steady, it really is, it's a psyop. It's psychological, operations. But if you're focusing on, positivity and really higher vibrations, happiness, love, joy, being at peace, No, that is going to help you reach, that higher level, the higher levels and altitudes of consciousness, which is what we're here to do. We're here to bring that energy. And I'm talking about all the matriarchs. So I say shout out. And it's interesting you bring up the X-Men. So the X has to do with the chromosome of the female, the divine feminine, right? The X chromosome. That's where, so in other words, to shout out to Pontiac, that everything has been a usurpation of the divine feminine and the matriarchy, from their movies to their television shows, and even to their his story, which is really about her story. Again, the founders of civilization started with the matriarchy. And yes, women do bring heaven, right? Women bring heaven. But I got to tell you, I'm sending some love and a shout out to all my brothers out there. And the reason why I'm sending love, because there were times, Tribe Family, when I was dealing with a lot of, I was dealing with some of those cult groups. When I started my platform, I want to say about 8-9 years ago, maybe 8 years ago, when I started my platform, and I didn't have half the level of understanding that I have at this juncture in time. But I was dealing with, because again, when I started out, I already knew from my oral traditions, from my people, my tribe, through the matriarchy in my family, who I am. I've always understood my tribal heritage, as being one from the original tribes organic to the land. But as I was teaching this knowledge, and the only reason why I threw my hat in so early on, and when YouTube was kind of just still in the early, infant stages, is because I just got so tired. And I was still, drunk on that Kool-Aid of Christianity. And, I was in Catholicism. I mean, I was Catholic, and I grew up a Catholic. So raised, all that, the whole thing, miseducated as a Catholic, you name it. So at any rate, because we didn't get no real education in those indoctrination camps. None of us. So, but at any rate, as I was still in that understanding, I kind of studied, once I figured out, okay, Christianity, isn't what they say it is. And Catholicism helped me when I started to really look into the history of Catholicism. Also, I started to look into Judaism and all of that. And that's when the emergence of those, cults that, people call themselves the Hebrew Israelites came out. And at that time, I thought, okay, I heard them talking about we being the tribes and what it said in the Bible. And at that time, I was drawn into that, right? Because I was still in that search mode. But one of the things that I couldn't connect was, well, wait a minute, if we're the 12 tribes, then how are we going to get our land back? I already knew our land was here, right? We were already home. But I was like, well, how does that tie into getting our land back here? Because last time I checked, that's on the other side of the continent, right? That's somewhere in the Levant, in the far east, right? East of Kemet. So it just didn't, that was kind of the missing piece of the puzzle, one of the many that didn't make sense to me. But at the same time, I was still looking into all of this and searching in search mode. And so they're saying, seek, and yeah, you will find. I mean, you'll uncover a lot. And one of the things, fast forwarding, is when I started, the premise of me starting my channel, my platform, was because when I was listening to all these little cult groups coming out and talking about, especially that group, it's a patriarchy, the whole Judaism thing, and the Hebrew Israelites, it's all based on a patriarchy, the patriarchal system, which tells you the people have been behind that cult too. But the thing is that at that time, like a lot of sisters out there, I was in search mode. So, I started checking out some of those groups, but I kept hearing, when I was listening to some of their, I was on some of their calls and listening to the men, all men teachers, they were always talking about how women couldn't teach. And I got so tired of hearing it. And at the time, I recall what it said in the book of Titus in the Bible about women not supposed to teach. And yet, wait a minute, it didn't make sense to me as a Christian. There were women pastors. So how does that, what I mean? That does too many contradictions, right? From the Bible. So that's what really, that was the catalyst why, why I threw my hat in, the ring, because I just got tired of hearing it. I was like, nah, it just didn't feel right to me. And so that's when I began teaching. I began my channel because I said, no, women can teach. And I don't know, somehow I'm going to prove this. Now, fast forwarding, let me tell you what happened. So I did some research, right? And lo and behold, I found out, well, yeah, women can teach, because if you understand anything about the Apostle Paul, one of his cousins, was actually a deacon. And that deacon, I believe her name was Unia, right? And by the way, that's a woman. Okay. So if you look up deacon means priest. So even in Judaism, the earliest priesthoods were women, right? So the thing that is, whether it's a construct or not, but the point is that all of this understanding came to me. And I still, and when I actually presented, and I used the very word that they were using to really suppress women about being teachers, I used that very word to slam them, right? It was like body bag, because I quoted exactly from the scripture that basically proved what I was saying, that Unia, he had a cousin, everything. And it even said at the bottom what a deacon is. So, and I'm telling you, after I did that particular transmission out there, I did that video, man, I tell you, man, it was like, oh, you have no idea. So all these women were like joining my platform. They were like, becoming members. I don't like saying subscribe because I don't think of anyone lower, no big eyes, no little you. So I say, there were more, women just, really became members of my channel because of that. They were very, they just appreciated that energy that I put out there. And then I still had people from that, those groups that were coming back and putting, really derogative comments on my platform. But I tell you this, and at times, there were times when they were putting out that derogative platform, energy, where you want to give into it, right? Which really drains your energy, right? And I was like, nah, but there were times I wanted to comment and respond, and I just said, no, I'm not going to do that, right? I'm not going to give them my energy like that. However, let me tell you something. With every negative comment I got from some of those guys that were trying to pull my channel, like they wanted me to just quit, right? And not stop teaching. I had so much love coming from my brothers, so much love coming from the men reaching out to me and saying, thank you, sister. And they just basically said, teach on, teach to reach. And the reason, and then they said, and some of the brothers, like they said, some of their comments were so heartwarming, because they said, my greatest teacher, my first teacher was my mother. So
I don't know. I was just about to say, guys, I don't even know how that was a whole thing, because everybody's first teacher is their mama. So I don't know where they came. I ain't never heard that one before. You know what I'm saying? I was raised by my mom. So, but we Goddess High Priestess just came in the room, and I want to introduce her real quick to the tribe, because Chief Khalifa was saying about her Olmec astrology, and she really got all the way into it. I was like, you must know. Goddess Maya. She said, no, I don't know. So, Goddess Maya, please introduce yourself to the Council of Khalifa.
All right. Well, it's an honor to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm High Priestess Ma'at. I run an organization called Melanated Immortals, Making Evolutionary Changes. And we teach the Olmec cosmology using the dream spell, right? And I know that there are, there's the Kiche as well as dream spell, but we've been using that as a tool, because what happens is it goes inside of the program and kind of takes you out to that remembrance and that discovery of who you are. So, I mean, that's a brief, introduction. I don't know how much further you want me to get in there, but
No, I'm glad you said it, because I'm glad you said it, because, like I said, Chief Khalifa was just talking about her kin number. She learned our kin numbers and stuff. And I was like, yo, it was funny, because once I did find out my kin number, it fit my personality and all my roots readings and everything else. It already fit. So now, like the goddess, you have knowledge of self. You know what I'm saying? That's wealth. Health is wealth. Knowledge of self is wealth. And when the goddess said the kin number, I just had to bring you on the show real quick and be like, yo, y'all might need to connect, because
I'm kin 242. That's the white galactic wind.
Queen Khalifa. How can you tell her kin number, goddess?
I'm 115 Blue Spectacle Eagle.
Ooh.
Ooh, okay. Blue Spectral Eagle. Okay, and that's in the that is in that's the end of the serpent wave spell.
Listen,
Yeah.
if I can tell you how I've been moving, I mean, I'm talking about. I went to one location, and the pyramid energy, Palenque was calling me. I was like, okay, I had to look it up. I was like, I know where this is, and because I live in California, so it's a lot of people from Mexico here. I went to the Mexican store. The Mexican motherfucking pyramid was calling me. I kept hearing it over and over again. I was like, okay, yeah. And that's like how I got my energy from like Mexico and Central America.
Ashe. Yeah. I was telling a brother Arisha Stone that when I went to Mexico, I've been to Mexico and I've been to Kemet, I've been to Kenya and Tanzania. I haven't gone to West Africa yet.
Okay.
But I felt more at home in Mexico. Now don't get me wrong. I love once I went to Luxor on down or on up in Egypt.
I didn't enjoy Egypt at all.
Yes, but no, it's no. Don't let Cairo get you. Cairo is different because it's mostly Arab. But once you go south,
Okay.
oh no, they welcome you. They tell you welcome home.
It
They'll
was
show
very
you
nice.
everything. Yes.
They
Now
were very nice.
they were yeah, I did the whole thing. I went all the way down to Aswan.
Yeah.
So I felt that.
Yeah, me too.
But when I
We gotta
went,
talk about that, Orisha, one day. The ones who've been to Egypt, talk about their experiences, because my experience was wild.
mine was great. I had a great experience. But I felt more at home in Mexico.
I need to go to Mexico. I ain't
Yep.
never really been for real.
And you in
I just lived
California,
in
you
it.
right
Yeah.
there.
You right
Look,
I
there,
know,
yeah.
but
we spend
remember,
so
I was
much
in the
money
military,
going way
right?
somewhere. Me personally, I feel like Egypt is Hollywood. You know how they decorate Hollywood and carve what they want to carve and everything else. The only thing ancient in Egypt, let me tell it, is the Sphinx. Now meanwhile, we went
No.
way over there, and all you got to do is go a couple hours to Mexico right here. You know what I'm saying? From
Yeah.
California, or go right there to the Grand Canyon, or go right
Yeah.
there to Mississippi, or go
Ooh.
right there to Ohio, or go right there to Georgia, or go right there to Tallahassee. So yeah.
But honestly, on some real stuff, Turtle Island is asking us to do more vacations and stuff on Turtle Island
Mm-hmm.
because we need the connection to the spirit of the land. And it's actual, we'll be activating the energy of Turtle Island once we actually start traveling around on Turtle Island. The spirit flows through us and her spirit flows through the core, right? And so we actually need to start traveling into see the throat chakra energy coming through. The spirit and the energy of Turtle Island is calling us to travel on Turtle Island to activate us and activate her.
I say.
That's
I was
very true. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to throw that in because she got me, on that one. I was just talking about this last evening. Is if when you go over to the continent, right? They have different like if you go to Nigeria, they got different elays for each Orisha. They got Ile Ifa, they got Ila Oshun. Everybody got their locale. Even in Kemet, everybody has their location. Tahuti got a location, Aset got a location, or whatever. We have the same thing over here, and I've been saying this for years. That why don't we? Who is the Netaru? I'm using that term, or Orisha in Ohio. Who is the Netaru or Orisha right here where I am in Maryland? Like we have those energies right here on this location because we was doing the same thing everywhere on the planet. And I'm just, to coincide with the sister was saying that if we start bringing up those energies, then that will also activate us. It's like, y'all ever seen them? I've never watched one of these movies except there was one I was interested in, the Mummy, the third one. that where they had the Asians. And remember, she went and got her ancestors from that location, and that's how they won the war or whatever. And it's like we have that same thing going over here. There's a lot of inactive energy that's right here with our ancestors that are here in North America. And if we start to rise up that energy, it's going to shift us as well. I totally agree.
And that's why I say this is Council Khalifa, because just by saying the name Khalifa is gonna make you open up a rabbit hole. You're gonna fall down the rabbit hole.
we
And you
already
start
know
talking
there's
about
a portal.
Griffins. You're gonna start talking about dragons. You're gonna start talking about all these different things.
Listen, do we want to start talking about dragons? Because we can bring it up.
Look, I'm Kim 113. I'm Red Skywalker, aka Chief Sky Serpent. So I'm most definitely in my serpent energy.
Right, I know when that silver serpent energy be rolling through the field.
But we already had two. We had 2 hours. I don't want to hold nobody too long. You know what I'm saying? Y'all were amazing, and I want to keep building with y'all. We'll do it again soon. Like I said, this goddess, I wanted to connect her with you because she's our Oya on the land. You know what I'm saying? She military strategic. She doing her military thing. We can bring her to the tribe. She might teach everybody how to shoot. This is Goddess Mayat. She's teaching everybody how to do the kin number. She breaks down these matriarch maps. When we talk about finding who we are going to Mexico, these are the maps to your body. Yeah. So this goddess, she's amazing. Check out Melanated Immortals, her whole situation. Get your kin number. Listen to them every Friday Rising, where they're breaking down the I'm still learning myself the kin and the hotep of the dead and all that. I'm trying to learn their lingo. But they're amazing when they break this stuff down. And it's better when we hear somebody that looks like us break it down than to hear somebody else break it down. Because the first thing they do is try to exclude us from it. We're talking about something cosmic, but melanated people from America, even though they look like us on the walls and pyramids. So yeah, most definitely tap into this energy. It's way more than what we're putting on. You know what I'm saying? Gardening is spiritual for us. Gardening is part of our religion or way of life. Husbandry, dealing with animals is part of our way of life. Herbs is part of our way of life. You know what I'm saying? Once we get back into that, it's game over. It's game over. When we get back into gardening, and if we were to do the Olmec calendar, that means we're planting potatoes, corn, all these different things that we eat on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? We can generate our own jobs, own income. Like I said, we got healers, we got cooks, we got chefs, we got security, we got, you know what I'm saying? We got warriors. We say, who is the god of the land? Tap into Quetzalcoatl. This is the land, we call it Turtle Island, but tap into Quetzalcoatl or Marcus Codal. You know what I'm saying? Tap into it's Veracucha. There's a lot of different. Tap into the mother of the serpent skirt. Her name is Serpent Skirt. You know what I'm saying? And you'll realize who you really are. Goddess, Sacred Goddess, did you have anything you wanted to say before we get out of here tonight?
Oh yeah, I just want to say, when y'all was talking about Mexico, I went to Tulum, and Tulum got some energy. I went out there and got activated. Kundalini came online and everything. Just being in the cenotes, the water is very healing. The cenotes, the pyramids there, like Tulum is. That is a really, really, really rich land with a lot of energy. And I agree about Mexico. Mexico is definitely it got some powerful energy. So I just wanted to just put that out there and just let everybody know they can follow me on Instagram at I am the Golden Goddess, and any way they want to support, they can just get my ebook. It is The Womb, Reclaiming the Womb. And it's $22 if anyone feels led. It has a lot of codes, keys in there, how to activate the womb, how to bless the womb before pregnancy, during pregnancy, what to eat. Just an overview of healing. It's the basic starter point for women who want to tap in. So thank you guys for having me.
Yes, ma'am. And we're gonna have you again. And like I said, well, you here now. That's why I brought the goddess on, because she has a whole community. You sound like one of the priests gonna be in the community. You see what I'm saying? When we already said it's not no big eyes, little U's shit, that means we all got to get, we all, if you in a hospital and you know how to do this and she know how to do that, y'all gonna come together. You're in Atlanta right now. This goddess is in, I believe, Virginia. Y'all not that far away from each other. She's creating the well springs. The other goddess that I wanted you to go on the show with, she's creating the well springs. Y'all all, we're not far away from each other. You know what I'm saying? We can send each other all sorts of different herbs. This goddess might, if you're in Atlanta, you might be around a lot of black walnut trees. So that's a business. These are different ways. We're not doing it by ourselves no more. We're doing it together. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna be the head of the house, the head of the hospital, and the staff, and the record department, and this and that. And, you know what I'm saying? We all coming together. So I most definitely appreciate this. Arisha Stone, can we ask about? Yeah, can you ask about my last question? What's your last question? What's your question? And I got yo, just tell me the question. Y'all go. I'm so I say. If I miss a question, my apologies. Just put the question in the comment real quick because I can't go back. Also, please remember to look out on that goddess that I was telling y'all about. I can't remember the goddess name right now, and I don't want to go back into the comments. But the goddess that she shot down 2 lawyers, and we talk about law, we talk about this esoteric thing so much, but we don't even understand lawyers is evil, just like the whole politician thing is evil. We don't realize that the word governor and president, the first time you ever heard that was in the Lesser Keys of Solomon. And all that, everything they're doing is evil. So what she did was she fought back. We were just talking about our people fighting back, and a lot of the men bow down. A lot of men be like, "Oh man, we can't do it nowadays." And here go one of the elder women went out there and fought back against the oppression and the evil things that they did to her mother. You know what I'm saying? She could have been a lot like a lot of other people and bowed down. So please, the same way these people are disrespecting our kids, a woman got rich by calling a little black baby out her name. A white woman got rich for that. We need to start supporting our warriors and everything else. I think it was Gwendolyn White, but you can look up her story and tap in with that goddess too. You know what I'm saying? Matriarch Monday, we want to send that energy to all the goddesses known and unknown. You know what I'm saying? Especially when she got that a set of Shakur energy, or that Queen Khalifa energy, or that segment energy. So before we get out of here, does anybody have anything else? I know Goddess Mayat, how can we get in contact with you if they want to get her kin number? And what do we got going on for Melanated Immortals?
Yeah, so just go to melanatedimmortals.com. And we use that for IG and Facebook and everything else. We do have a event coming up for the summer solstice. That's our Womb Evolution Retreat. It's our 3rd annual Womb Evolution Retreat. If you go to the website and go to our events page, you can find out more information about that. And then definitely join us on Friday a.m. That's 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for our Aligning with the Cycles. And you can find out more about your kin numbers and your archetype. We teach about whatever kin we're on that day. We break that down and give you more information about it.
Yes, ma'am. Light Feather, before we get out of here, we had a great question. They said, how are Social Security number is associated with the Federal Reserve Bank and what it has to do with frequencies, etc.
How the Social Security number is associated with the Federal Reserve. So, in short, what that is that the Social Security number is part of the whole straw man fraud that they have been using to access. I'm gonna make this, simplify this, because I tell even the numbers that are associated, that are assigned, that they assign to those, to each, natural divine being, if you referring to our people, it actually relates to a lot of different things, that know exactly who we are and everything, identify so much about us. But I'm not going to, again, I don't want to go deep in there, but I'm just going to whittle it and simplify it. That the Social Security number is associated with the straw man. And the straw man that they set up when you come out of, the portal, when you arrive here, your planetary arrival, they set up a certificate that they have, other sign, right? With the name, and they stamp, the whole mess again. And it's all associated with coming into a harbor, all stuff. again, maritime admiralty law, which has to do with the law of the land, which is the law that we live by. There is no law but the great law, and that is the law of the land. Now, having said that, the Social Security number, what they're doing with those numbers is it is associated with what they have been using to use in their to access our trust. Okay, the trust that they had set up for every essentially, or organic being on this land. We the originals organic to the land, and it allows them to access the trust fund. So what happens is every time you go fill out a credit card, or you go and anything, even when they ask for that information, the last 4 digits of your credit card, you go in a hospital, let's say you hurt your finger, I don't know, you hurt your finger and you got to go into the hospital, get it bandaged up or something, and they give you all this paperwork to fill out, all that stuff. And naturally, it's always going to be on a form you're filling out, Social Security number, right? And 9 times out of 10, any of those, when you apply for credit, you apply for a mortgage, anything that allows, when they're giving you that paperwork, that straw man paperwork you fill out, when you enter in your Social Security number, it allows them to tap into your trust fund. Now, there is a website where you can go and you'll be able to see on that website all of the accounts that have been set up all around the world. When you enter in your Social Security number on this website, okay, you can see all the accounts that have been set up around the world that they have been using to tap into your trust fund. And by the way, it's been even people that are not from here. Somebody just Galactic Incarnation. Okay. But yeah, but that's exactly what that Social Security number, that's how it ties into the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve doesn't have any money. Okay. Remember, you're the creditor. Okay. They're the borrower. You're the creditor. So notice when you apply for a mortgage, you never see the money. Right? They just say, oh, you've been approved, right? Because what they do is you fill out all that paperwork. Oh, wow. The thing is, like, it's the size of a textbook, the paperwork, when you go buy a home. And they basically say, hey, congratulations, you're a homeowner. But what you're doing is sending them a gift every month when they've already, let's say if your house was, I don't know, like, $500,000. They've already taken that money out of your trust fund and your house is already paid for it, right? And this is anybody, that has, bought a home, but it's the mortgage, the whole thing means a dead pledge. So essentially, yes. And part of the science is you got to study everything, including civics and Moorish science. Shout out to the righteous Moors about that, because it is true that everything is associated with they've been using that straw man. That ties back to the whole story of the Wizard of Oz, the whole mess. But at any rate, remember, there's the straw man and there's the Tin Man in the Wizard of Oz. Tin Man as in what? TIN, tax identification number. All right now. So, again, this is how they're able to notice. Did you hear that? Because again, the truth is in the proof. So this is how they're, they access the information and tap into your trust fund, but you are the creditor. The banks don't, the Federal Reserve, they didn't have any, they don't have money. That's why they call them debt notes, right? But it's their debt. It's not the people's debt, right? Which is, again, what has been going on. So that is, I hope I answered your question, Fish,
Yes, ma'am. No, they have some amazing questions in here.
Yeah.
Goddess High Priestess. They said, how would you find your kin number?
Yes, you can go to lawtime.org and you will get your kin number. And but if you want an extended reading, you can go on to our website and we'll give you a it's gonna hit on everything. So, but you can go there at lawtime.org and you can find it. Put in your date of birth.
And you also have something coming up. We talk about community, and you're on this side, and this goddess is on this side. Don't you have some kind of event coming up, a retreat coming up for melanated, the initiated?
Yeah, I mentioned that. That's our womb evolution summer solstice retreat. That's going to be in Virginia, and actually, yeah, we usually do events every solstice and every equinox. Most of them are in Georgia, though. But in the summer, we go to the beach. So we're going to be in Virginia.
I share.
All of that's at the website. Yep.
Yes, ma'am. Well, goddesses, again, I appreciate it. We went 2 hours and it didn't even feel like it. Look, we could have kept going. All of y'all were amazing energy. Thank y'all for the new guests, and I hope y'all come back soon because y'all were amazing as well. Did anybody else have anything before we get out of here tonight?
Peace and blessings. And y'all get prepared because this is what we're doing.
Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
We have to be prepared, right?
You ain't got to get ready when you stay ready.
This is the preparation time. Ashe.
Yeah, you ain't got to get ready when you stay ready. You know what I'm saying? We talk, everybody want to be indigenous. Tell us time to do indigenous things. So with that, we're going to get out of here. Thank y'all, everybody, for tapping in tonight and all the great comments. Thank y'all for everybody's support. Please look up that goddess, that warrior goddess with that warrior energy that's fighting the system right now. Support all of our warriors. Support all these sister warriors. All this, you know what I'm saying? The goddess energy that's trying to return the matriarch. Peace and blessings to the tribe. We out. Peace.
Before roads, before borders, the forest was the highway. And nations moved above the earth. From Florida to the river kingdoms to the northern mounds. The branches carried trade, language, laughter, wisdom. Every path led toward gathering. And at the center rose Cahokia. 4 travelers arrive, carrying the voices of many nations. Here, thought becomes counsel. Here, truth is spoken plainly.
This is Chief Talk.
Can we walk on? I'm making real. Turn it down, moving the light, cause we came from underground. They're scared of the past, cause the future first found. What's lost been found, now the council's around. Who the council speak? This is what they tell me. Every verse, every beat is a key, is the seed. What's found, get free.